Deep within this unforgiving wilderness, a brutal struggle sends tremors through the food chain as relentless hunters encircle the savanna's apex predator. Bound by the cruel laws of natural selection, a desperate baboon clutching her infant must fight a terrifying battle for ultimate survival. Who then is the true master of this eternal circle of life? Ancient prejudice brands the hyena a cowardly scavenger. But when the golden sun sets, this ruthless biological machine awakens in absolute darkness. A vulnerable, isolated calf, blindly wandering through the pitch-black night, quickly falls into the deadly sights of stalking primal phantoms. The terrifying circle of death rapidly tightens as the frenzied predators strike. Yet, an earth-shattering roar violently scatters the vicious demons. The shocking truth behind this eternal rivalry has been obscured. The vital nourishment sustaining their massive pack is secured by bone-crushing jaws. Forged through iron discipline and unparalleled cruelty, they fiercely protect their future bloodline, proving they are highly calculated apex assassins. This deeply underestimated creature holds the key to survival. Beneath the radiant dawn, Nala, the formidable matriarch, silently surveys her conquered territory. Perfected over 10 million years of brutal evolution, they refuse to squabble over petty borders, forcing all living creatures to submit. Nala's legendary pack dominates a sprawling kingdom, fracturing their forces into a ruthless network that suffocates every boundary. Every shadowy corner remains under absolute control. Suddenly, she freezes. A frenzied pack ambushes solitary prey. But Nala calmly calculates her moment, unleashing a fatal blow. Beneath the murky waters, a frenzied pack of wild dogs viciously claims their prey. From the boundary of life and death, Nala chillingly observes. Dragging the prey a mere 200 meters, they abruptly halt. Every cowering retreat provides invaluable intelligence. Leaving the blood-soaked hunting grounds, the hyena queen turns her gaze northward. This is the formidable kingdom, where Kago has reigned supreme for 6 relentless seasons. Yet now, Kago's territory lies completely void of its majestic male guardians. The ultimate burden of survival now crashes heavily upon the lionesses. A fatal vulnerability exposed. Nala silently retreats to her clan, patiently awaiting the perfect strike. Seti, her cunning daughter, approaches the matriarch with a reckless hunger aimed directly toward the north. Nala instantly issues a warning growl. Impatience upon this ruthless savanna is paid in blood. The clan marches across the plains, forging iron discipline beneath a twilight stained by the massacres of Mother Nature. Their fluid network fractures their formidable forces, transforming every individual into a scout holding vital survival fragments. No single phantom needs the complete picture. Nala walks silently, patiently calculating their exact moment to strike. The Hyena Legion maintains absolute positioning, silently awaiting the ultimate command from their supreme ruler. In this primal world, a single careless second turns flesh into dust. The wild dogs harbor arrogance in their speed. But can they foresee this invisible trap? Nala understands perfectly without their powerful leader, the entire predatory structure will instantly collapse. Thus, she maintains a brutal dictatorship to completely re-establish the delicate ecological balance within a few fleeting hours. Amidst the wilderness, Nala is the immortal fighting soul of this entire ruthless legion. The young Seti has yet to absorb this survival philosophy, blindly hungering only for superficial power. With every dawn, the matriarch deeply contemplates, sweeping her penetrating gaze across all 4 directions of the sprawling savanna. To the north lies the threatening domain of lions. One misstep here guarantees a bloody death. The west is a blood-soaked arena, where lightning-fast hunters carve out their relentless journey of slaughter. She carefully inspects the southern waters, then pivots east to trace the scent of night carnage. 4 directions yield 4 vital streams of intelligence, never once overlooked by this flawless biological machine. The unforgiving laws of natural selection have been scarred through thousands of bloody, humiliating retreats. The wild dogs have bitterly watched their hard-earned prey vanish into the jaws of overpowering scavengers. That ancestral trauma forged an extreme defensive reflex against any threatening force in the food chain. Yet ironically, deep within the swamp, a solitary hyena wanders aimlessly, entirely unaware of the Grim Reaper. The wild pack violently ambushes. Their frenzied snarls instantly tear through the eerie silence of the abyss. Driven by survival instinct, the hyena sinks into the deep mud to shield its fatal weakness. Razor-sharp fangs snap inches away. The atmosphere of life and death becomes absolutely suffocating. Powerless against this earthen fortress, the assassins finally retreat. But this clash is merely the violent prelude. The wild dogs flee in absolute chaos. But from afar, Nala, the supreme matriarch, silently observes. Through the lens of an apex predator, their frontal assault exposes a fatal vulnerability in survival. Concealed beneath barren shadows, this biological machine coldly records every rigid flaw within the enemy formation. When primal behavior becomes entirely predictable, even the strongest hunter inevitably reveals a fatal death knell. The rigidity of primitive instinct dictates this survival game. Nala refuses to rush. This tactical intelligence forms the true foundation for a grand overthrow toward the distant north. That is Keigo's Grand Kingdom, a land bleeding from the absence of its majestic male guardians. To enforce her iron law, Mother Nature demands absolute certainty. Vague calculations have no place here. Beneath radiant dawns or falling dusk, the food chain harbors a remarkably cruel and unforgiving paradox. Without the Grim Reaper's shadow cast by hyenas, wild dog instincts dull. Survival pressure is the fire forging true assassins. They remain elite because natural selection forces their hand. A flawless evolutionary trap upon the Savanna. The matriarch preserves her rivals as mere pawns, solely to reconstruct the ultimate map of power. Keigo's throne slowly crumbles. True terror stems not from stolen prey, but an overwhelming, suffocating presence. The absolute exhaustion of her enemies falls perfectly into Nala's deeply calculated and highly orchestrated schemes. The hyena legion silently infiltrates arid waterholes. Apex scavenging demands a vision far beyond mere muscle. With vital intelligence gathered, this biological machine awakens. Cunning intellect remains the ultimate weapon of the wilderness. Charging into darkness is never trivial. How much vital energy must be sacrificed to conquer death itself? Every footprint upon the barren wasteland is measured. While rivals rest, the dark intelligence network prowls. Yet Nala's predatory gaze fixates solely on one direction, the northern realm, where the lion dynasty fractures. Amidst the naive play of cubs, death's breath circulates. Hyenas are uniquely armed with chilling patience. No subtle tremor escapes her vision, and Keigo's territory is rapidly transforming into the ultimate prize. In the north, invasion avoids roaring displays. It begins with a merciless test of natural selection. Does anyone still guard this throne? Keigo's legendary reign merely masks a colossal, deeply fatal vulnerability. Lacking masculine deterrence, the immense burden of survival crashes heavily upon the fragile shoulders of the females. Forced into bloody hunts while desperately protecting their borders. An impossible survival equation with no solution. When the huntresses depart, the kingdom lies totally defenseless. Lost cubs blindly wander the cold riverbank. Creation's perfect balance is torn. Without defensive pillars, cunning scavengers instantly detect the scent of looming slaughter. They await deadly openings. The exhausted lioness fiercely swats at vultures to guard her pathetic scraps. Far away, hidden in darkness, the hyenas capture every agonizing breath of their ancient, eternal enemies. Seizing the fatal flaw, Nala unleashes her dark forces. The creeping shadows swallow every weak maternal struggle. Swarm of flies shroud desperate faces. A mother's primal instinct violently rings alarms of a chilling threat. Predatory eyes pierce the prey. Innocent offspring lounge upon high rugs, entirely ignorant of the approaching grim reaper. Primal phantoms crawl through dry grass, silently crossing life's fragile boundary. The lioness panics, ears raised, intercepting the demons. Savage howls erupt. Death jaws violently crush Keigo's dynasty. The deadly grip of darkness tights. Yet Keigo, the proud northern matriarch, desperately shoulders the crushing weight of a falling dynasty. She attempts to project supreme majesty, but fragile survival instincts cannot possibly salvage a brutal endgame dictated by the ruthless food chain. Every defensive strike viciously drains her vital energy. The ultimate price to defend this Savanna throne is unfathomably steep. Across the blood-stained front line, Nala desires no fiery confrontation. This flawless biological machine patiently erodes her ancient rival's crumbling willpower. Suffocating beneath the hyena legion's pressure, Keigo's formidable defensive perimeter begins to shatter from deep within the core of absolute power. The sacred western boundaries must be abandoned, leaving the lioness's once great war machine completely paralyzed in an abyss of total exhaustion. Standing upon the terrifying precipice of extinction, Keigo must retreat her fractured forces into the heartland, where innocent lives silently wither. These fragile biological seeds of the future bloodline force the matriarch to painfully sacrifice her most fertile and highly conquered territories. Seizing this fatal vulnerability, Nala instantly plunges a bloody dagger into the enemy's ultimate weakness. But Mother Nature always harbors chilling paradoxes. A terrifying variable suddenly emerges. Tao, a lone majestic male stalking from the shadows. Exhausted within the suffocating trap, Keigo and her offspring collapse by the riverbank, flashing a desperate glimmer of ultimate hope. Yet the unforgiving wilderness harbors zero mercy. This majestic stranger returns not for kinship. He mercilessly targets the undisputed throne. Glaring down at offspring outside his royal bloodline, Tao's eyes radiate freezing murderous intent. These future competitors must be violently eradicated. Under creation's most brutal laws of natural selection, this titan's arrival delivers a fatal blow, heavily devastating Keigo's once mighty dynasty. The once proud pride is now reduced to merely 3 surviving females. They drain their last drops of blood forging an impenetrable shield. The bleeding wounds on Keigo's neck are cruel testaments to the horrific price of shouldering an empire beyond nature's limits. Pushed into a deadly corner, the Savanna's apex ruler must humble herself, gambling her ultimate survival to plunder a solitary leopard's arboreal kill. The leopard has vanished into the ancient trees. But from the north, Nala's pride is already closing in. For the leopard, retreat is not defeat. In the wilderness, survival belongs to those who know when to yield. But Keigo cannot retreat forever. Her shrinking territory must now be defended against a world growing ever more hostile. The dry season approaches, and with every burning day, the fragile balance of the savanna begins to collapse. As water disappears, predators and prey are forced together, awakening ancient rivalries buried beneath the dust. Keigo's pride has been reduced to 3 lionesses, each carrying the weight of an entire family upon her shoulders. They must hunt, defend their territory, and protect their young, while exhaustion slowly drains their strength. Every breath grows heavier. Every decision matters. In the wild, there is no mercy for the exhausted. Even the cubs are vulnerable now. At the last pools of water, danger waits beside every desperate drink. And Tao offers little help. The dominant male follows another instinct, one shaped by power, possession, and control. His duty is to patrol, intimidate rivals, and defend the territory he believes belongs to him alone. Keigo has no such freedom. For her, there is only one path: adapt, endure, and protect the next generation. Tao crosses the scorched grassland, his mane rising in the wind like a living warning to every challenger. Nearby, Keigo comforts her cubs. A gentle touch, perhaps the last protection she can still offer them. But beneath this fragile moment waits danger. Tao is close, and exhaustion has left Keigo increasingly vulnerable. Then the drought tides its grip. The sun burns hotter, turning every remaining waterhole into an arena of survival. Every creature is drawn toward the same shrinking refuge, where thirst can become as deadly as any predator. But this water belongs for now to the giants of the savanna, a formidable herd of elephants. Their enormous bodies block the path. Even lions and hyenas must wait at a respectful distance from these giants. To approach too closely could mean death. Against such power, hunger and thirst must learn patience. Among the waiting lions is Seti, young and watchful, studying every movement and searching for the smallest opportunity. She remembers an ancient lesson: survival does not always belong to the strongest, but often to the most patient. As daylight fades, the elephants finally move away, leaving the precious water exposed to a gathering of hungry shadows. At once the savanna changes. Dozens of hungry eyes turn toward the same prize, and tension erupts. The greatest threat comes from the south, where African wild dogs defend their vulnerable young with extraordinary aggression. When a pack is cornered, size means little. Desperation can transform even a smaller hunter into a deadly enemy. Seti trusts the lessons of the past, but extreme conditions can destroy rules that once seemed unbreakable. The drought has changed everything. Familiar instincts can become traps, and experience alone may no longer guarantee survival. Under the moonlight, the elephants move like living fortresses, each enormous step sending a warning through the trembling earth. Even Tao gives way. For once, the dominant male must acknowledge a force greater than his own. Seti advances carefully, measuring every step. One sudden movement from the herd could end everything within seconds. Dust rises across the red earth. The wind carries the scent of fear, and promises a dangerous night. Will Keigo and her cubs survive the drought? Or will Tao seize this chaos to strengthen his own dominance? Suddenly, the elephants trumpet beneath the ancient trees. Their warning echoes across the savanna, freezing every creature nearby. Seti retreats into the dry brush. No predator, however bold, can afford to underestimate an enraged elephant. Yet the swirling dust creates another possibility. A narrow chance for Seti to move unseen. Is the risk worth taking? In the wilderness, opportunity and death often arrive wearing the same disguise. Night finally closes over the battlefield. The elephant calves remain close to their mothers, seeking safety within the darkness. Tao disappears into the shadows, but his silence offers no comfort. Somewhere beyond sight, another conflict is waiting. Keigo gathers her exhausted family. The cubs still have much to learn, and the dry season teaches without mercy. Seti carries tonight's lesson with her in a changing world. Old instincts must evolve, or become fatal weaknesses. The elephants fade into darkness, their enormous silhouettes slowly swallowed by the vast and unforgiving African night. For Kago, there is no true rest. Tomorrow will bring another hunt, another threat, another test of endurance. She touches her cub once more. A silent promise that instinct, courage, and motherhood will face whatever comes. Beyond the darkness, a distant roar breaks the silence. Tao's intentions remain hidden, but danger is already moving. Seti and Kago stand at the edge of uncertainty, surrounded by drought, rivals, hunger, and the endless struggle to survive. The path ahead is merciless, but endurance is the only law they can still obey in this unforgiving wilderness. As darkness embraces the savannah, one truth remains unchanged: every survivor must be ready for the next battle. And somewhere beneath the silent stars, Seti watches the horizon, her instincts awakening to a world forever changed. For in the wild, no victory is permanent. And this brutal struggle for survival has only just begun. The night grows deeper, while the savannah waits in silence for the next dawn and the next battle. As darkness falls, a small shadow quietly slips away from the pride. Without a warning roar, Seti walks willingly into danger, driven by an instinct she does not yet understand. Dust and wind conceal Tao's approach, but the distance between hunter and vulnerable prey continues too close. Seti freezes upon the ridge. What lies before her is unlike anything the old lessons ever prepared her for. The wind suddenly dies. Silence takes the savannah. Not even a warning call breaks the darkness. Then heavy footsteps approach the pride, uneven and deliberate, carrying the unmistakable scent of blood. The pride senses her before they see her. Seti staggers home, one injured leg dragging behind her. Nala's eyes sink with pain. This is not the fault of one careless creature. The wilderness itself has spoken. Nala taught Seti every skill a hunter needs, but the savannah always keeps a few deadly exceptions hidden. Seti, you are still too impatient. The old warning returns now, carrying a bitterness writ in blood. Yet nature holds a cruel truth. Sometimes even patience is not enough to escape the jaws of fate. The young lions huddle together for warmth, while blood continues to seep from the wound across Seti's shoulder. She had crossed into unfamiliar territory. One reckless decision, and the price was writ across her flesh. Nala turns toward the suffocating north, where the elephants still command the precious water beneath the burning sky. Thirst consumes every member of the pride. Their carefully balanced strategy for survival is beginning to fracture. Seti had chosen her own path without permission. Nala understands what happened the instant she hears those approaching sounds. Seti sees the wild dogs feeding nearby. For one brief moment, their opportunity appears almost close enough to seize. But it is a fatal illusion. The lessons of yesterday no longer apply to this brutal moment. Knowledge used in the wrong place can become a sentence of death. Even the wisest instinct can betray its owner. The wild dogs have young to protect, and their aggression has erased every boundary that once promised safety. Before Seti can retreat, two savage attacks crash into her. The hunter becomes the wounded prey in an instant. This is a lesson paid for in blood. But somewhere inside the wounded lioness, one question remains. Can she survive? The red earth appears stained with blood, while one hurried decision has already demanded its price in flesh. The enormous elephants continue their relentless march, while the ancient struggle for water remains far from finished. Seti lies quietly beside Nala, her eyes filled with regret, learning that survival sometimes begins with accepting failure. Not every opportunity that appears before a predator is meant to be taken. Some are traps disguised as gifts. Timing is the true boundary between life and death. The lesson settles deeply into Seti's wounded mind. As the afternoon fades, Tao's dark silhouette prowls nearby. The threat surrounding the vulnerable pride has not disappeared. Kago and Nala brace themselves together, protecting the young and preparing to face whatever storm the wilderness brings. Seti clenches against the pain. At last, the meaning of patience begins to take root within her. To the south, the wild dogs remain watchful, while the stubborn elephants still guard the only path toward water. Yet the pride does not collapse. They wait together, watching, listening, and preparing for the next move. The struggle for survival continues. And in this merciless kingdom, only one question matters. Who will endure? Savanna winds tear through the silence, carrying dust into the darkness. While the coming night hides countless dangers, Seti looks toward her mother with steady eyes. True maturity begins not with victory, but with the wounds it leaves behind. The elephants continue beneath the fading sun, their massive bodies guarding the water like ancient living fortresses. Kago stands motionless on watch, guarding every cub with the fierce devotion of a mother who refuses to surrender. The danger from the wild dogs remains. But as long as the pride stands together, hope has not vanished. Every breath becomes another battle. Seti now understands the true price of a single mistake in the wild. The sunset closes another brutal day. But will the coming dawn bring rain? or only another desperate search for water. Far across the grassland, Tao's dark shape flickers through the shadows. The confrontation is drawing dangerously close. Seti rests beside her mother, drawing deep breaths, preparing herself for another trial beneath the unforgiving sky. The great drought shows no mercy. Yet the pride remains standing, enduring each brutal test together. Can this small pride cross the boundary between survival and death? The answer lies somewhere beyond the darkness. Their journey through this hostile wilderness is far from over. Another chapter of their struggle awaits. For now, the pride holds its ground. The future remains uncertain. But everything is still possible. Seti remains perfectly still, studying every movement around her. Patience is no longer waiting. It is gathering information. Slowly, the balance begins to shift in their favor. One careless movement now could destroy everything they have endured. Even the longest drought eventually passes. But beneath this relentless pressure, the Keigo pride is slowly being weakened, one day at a time. For the first time, Seti looks in the same direction as her mother. She begins to see what impatient eyes once overlooked. Failure leaves behind a priceless lesson. Victory often hides its own causes, but defeat reveals every weakness with brutal clarity. But will that lesson remain true under different conditions? Sometimes only falling into the dust can reveal the true boundary of a mistake. Seti carries away something more valuable than a victory. A map writ by experience, showing precisely when she must not strike. This map is worth more than any accidental triumph. Every generation learns it through failures paid for in blood and hardship. But Seti must learn these ancient rules within a single season of drought. Fortunately, her mother remains beside her, guiding every step. The boundary between courage and recklessness is not inherited through instinct alone. It is forged through failure, observation, and the patience to understand. Nala has paid for countless mistakes throughout her own life. Now the burden of those lessons passes silently into Seti's paws. The cracked earth trembles beneath shifting forces. Opportunity never announces its arrival. It appears suddenly, then disappears before the careless can react. One distracted glance can allow a precious moment to vanish. And now, Tao has suddenly turned toward the southern horizon. He leaves for reasons known only to himself. Even this vast territory cannot hold the dominant male when another instinct calls him away. But when will the shadow return? Only Tao knows when his presence will once again darken the territory of the pride. Nala does not need to see him to understand. The faint sounds of movement, the changing wind, have already revealed his departure. The heavy sky begins to release its burden, and the path toward the shrinking waterhole finally opens a narrow passage. The fading tracks reveal the direction of Tao's retreat. Seti recognizes the opening immediately. And this time she does not rush. Can the dust-laden wind conceal the vulnerable young? The next struggle for survival is only beginning, and every step could decide their fate. Their rapid breathing merges with the surrounding silence. Seti advances one careful step at a time, allowing patience to guide what instinct once rushed. For the first time, patience begins to bear fruit. The danger remains ahead. But Seti is no longer the same lioness. Seti and Keigo are ready now, ready to shield the young, face the coming storm, and endure whatever the wilderness demands. With Tao gone, Rona stands alone in the marsh, defending every remaining inch of a territory, already fading beneath the relentless pressure of survival. Her eyes remain fixed upon the empty horizon, while exhaustion slowly drains her strength. But one determined creature cannot hold back an approaching storm forever. Beyond the marsh, the true danger is already gathering. Nala's hyenas emerge from scattered ground, answering an ancient call to unite. What begins as scattered hunters becomes a single living force, every member moving with discipline, every step tightening the formation around its prey. This is no random gathering. It is the deliberate machinery of a clan preparing to expand its territory and overwhelm whatever stands in its path. Rona has survived seasons of devastating drought, and she is neither timid nor defeated. But her enemy possesses the strength of numbers and perfect coordination. Even the fiercest lone hunter can find no opening against such a formation. Nala advances toward the marsh, searching every corner and claiming ground. Her expansion moves like a living organism, slowly pushing the boundaries of a growing domain, while every movement serves a purpose already understood by its leader. Nala sees what others cannot. Keigo's clan is fractured, Tao has vanished, and Rona is carrying the impossible burden of an entire territory alone. While rival clans merely react to danger, Nala gathers knowledge in silence, studying every weakness until the outcome begins to reveal itself. If Rona is forced to retreat, the marsh will belong to Nala. Her clan enters the wetlands, marking boundaries and searching every hidden corner. Without a stronger force to intervene, the old territory begins changing masters in complete silence. Not through a great battle, but through patient expansion. Every movement has its purpose. Every weakness has been measured. Nala already understands the limits, instincts, and fears of every rival surrounding her. Keigo commands a fractured clan, Tao remains powerful but unreliable, and Rona cannot stand alone. To Nala, every weakness is another opening. While others struggle simply to survive, Nala watches the entire battlefield unfold before her, seeing not moments, but the shape of the future. An empire is never created by one spectacular battle beneath the burning sun. It is built through countless decisions, too small to notice at first. Then the consequences gather, until the scattered pieces form a new reality, one that becomes almost impossible for the weaker clans to reverse. This is the deeper strength Nala understood long before the others. Her advantage is not merely intelligence. It is patience transformed into power. In the wilderness, power rarely changes hands in a single moment. It shifts through countless small movements, each one weakening the old order. True dominance is accumulated slowly, through patience repeated again and again, until resistance finally becomes too exhausted to continue. While Seti advances cautiously, the wheel of survival has already turned. Across the barren earth, every piece of this struggle is moving toward its place. The hyenas now guard the red earth, ready to inherit territory once controlled by others. Beneath the merciless sun, the old order begins to collapse. There is no mercy in this ancient wilderness. Only those patient enough to endure can eventually command the ground beneath their feet. And now, the game of dominance enters a new phase. Keigo's clan retreats, abandoning the western border it can no longer defend. Nala's clan advances without a roar, without bloodshed, filling the empty ground and tightening its influence with every passing day. Keigo gathers what strength remains, protecting the territory still under her control. But her retreat has created exactly the opportunity Nala was waiting for. Seti no longer rushes toward danger. She watches her mother in silence, memorizing every movement, finally learning that patience is itself a weapon. Victory is not the greatest treasure. The true inheritance is knowledge. The wisdom passed from one generation to the next through suffering and survival. The wound across Seti's shoulder still burns, reminding her of the price of recklessness. She remains beside Nala, waiting for the right moment. The greatest inheritance is survival itself. Nala's gaze sweeps across the grassland, and every rival senses the authority of a predator that has learned to command through discipline, not brute strength. Seti is beginning to understand her mother's greatest weapon. The Hyena clan survives because every member knows exactly where it belongs. In the wilderness, solitary strength can be broken, but a disciplined clan can endure pressure that would destroy a single hunter. Every member remains alert, ready to answer another's call. Together, they form a tireless living machine that slowly drains the strength of its enemies. Across the newly claimed ground, Nala's clan advances with quiet confidence, turning every step into another declaration of dominance. But can Rona, or the weakened clan of Keigo, truly reverse a fate that already seems to be closing around them? Along the boundary, Nala moves without hesitation. Fear still hangs over the rival territory, while a younger generation watches and learns. Seti follows carefully through the brush, carrying the scars of her earlier mistake, and absorbing every lesson writ in blood. The solitary hunter is easily isolated by the unforgiving laws of nature. Here, survival belongs to those who can remain part of something greater. Even while Nala rests beneath the shade, her ears remain tuned to every distant sound. A mother may sleep, but instinct never does. Seti approaches the resting clan and feels the security of her mother's presence. In the wild, protection is not given. It is inherited through experience. Beyond them, an immense territory opens beneath the African sun, a kingdom waiting to be claimed by those strong enough to endure its trials. For generations, survival has been passed from mother to offspring. Seti now stands upon red earth, ready to carry that ancient instinct forward. Nala crosses the green grass without rushing. She is not chasing prey. She is measuring distances, boundaries, and the movements of every rival. Then she returns to Seti. A gentle touch becomes something far more important. A silent lesson in the ancient art of survival. Soon the first reward arrives. One member returns carrying fresh prey, and the entire clan gathers with astonishing speed. This is the true strength of the hyena. Not one body, but many bodies moving as a single organism across the endless savanna. Yet life on these plains has never been a straight path. To reach the top, the hyena has endured millions of years of evolution. Every scent traced along the earth can conceal a hunting strategy. Every pause may reveal the position of prey or an approaching enemy. Nala emerges from the dry brush with absolute confidence. But one question follows her through the wilderness. Why are hyenas still called scavengers? The truth is far different. Taking prey from another predator represents only a small fraction of their survival. Most victories are earned by the clan itself. Watch them closely. Patient, relentless, searching every corner of their territory. Their greatest weapon is not speed, but persistence. As the sun sinks beyond the horizon, Nala and her young face the same direction. Most of their real battles unfold beneath the cover of darkness. This is not merely a struggle for food against Keigo's wild dogs. It is a contest between rival minds, shaped by generations of survival. Nala knows where her enemies rest, where they hesitate, and how far their strength can carry them. Knowledge becomes power long before the battle begins. Nearby, Seti plays among her siblings. Nala watches in silence, already preparing her daughter for battles that have not yet arrived. The bond between them is the foundation of the clan's strength. Even before lions, Nala refuses to surrender her ground. She keeps a careful distance, calculating every movement. Then, when the danger passes, the entire clan accelerates into the open woodland. Seti disappears beneath the tall grass, her ears raised toward the darkness. The lesson of patience suddenly becomes far more dangerous. The hyena's jaws can crush the hardest bones. Yet even such power cannot eliminate every threat hiding within the shadows. From above, the land reveals a maze of deadly traps. Then one wounded clan member returns, blood staining its battered coat. A grim warning that a new challenge has begun. Seti stands motionless among the dry grass, her eyes following every movement, while the true weapon of her clan remains hidden within the jaws of the hyena. A bite generating nearly 4,500 newtons can crush the hardest bones, a force far beyond what most predators can withstand. But the jaws are only half the story. Deep within Nala lies another biological weapon, a stomach filled with acid powerful enough to dissolve almost anything. With a pH between 1 and 2, this furnace transforms rot carcasses into usable nourishment, while even the keratin of horns and hooves is broken down. When a zebra finally falls, Nala's clan wastes nothing. Flesh, bone, and every remaining fragment are consumed with astonishing efficiency. Unlike lions that may guard a carcass for hours, the hyenas clear the feeding ground rapidly, freeing the clan to return to patrol and defend its territory. Even the youngest cubs begin learning this ancient efficiency. Their feeding is not reckless greed, but a biological strategy perfected through generations of evolution. By leaving the carcass quickly, the clan can continue its endless work, patrolling boundaries, searching for opportunity, and keeping disease from spreading across the wilderness. Seti watches in silence, absorbing another lesson from her mother. That survival belongs not only to the strongest, but to the most efficient. Then, Tao returns to the water. His sudden appearance threats to shatter the order Nala has spent so long building. Nala watches without moving. The lion's shadow remains a constant threat, a predator whose authority can overturn an entire territory. But where lions often depend upon the power of a dominant male, hyenas survive through another system, one built upon discipline among the females. Their strength does not come from a solitary champion. It comes from absolute cooperation, dozens of individuals responding as though they were one living organism. Even the strongest male must yield when the ruling female makes her decision. This hierarchy prevents endless conflict and preserves energy for the survival of the young. Everywhere, danger waits beneath the grass, like a venomous snake concealed from the careless eye. Yet Nala remains focused on protecting her offspring. She gently cleans Seti's wound, passing more than warmth through that simple touch. She is passing confidence, instinct, and the authority of generations. For a young hyena, protection is also education. Every moment beside the mother becomes another lesson in the invisible hierarchy of survival. Across the grassland, a solitary male reveals the price of power gained through force. Every challenger brings another battle, and every battle consumes precious energy. The energy others waste fighting for dominance can instead be invested by Nala's clan into hunting, protecting cubs, and expanding its territory. This efficiency gives the young a crucial advantage. In the harsh arithmetic of nature, every calorie saved can become another day of survival. But what allows an empire of predators to survive when the wilderness itself turns against them? The answer is adaptation. When drought strikes or Seti is badly injured, the clan changes its behavior almost instantly, entering a new mode of survival. Nothing is allowed to remain rigid. Their strength lies in the ability to adjust, endure, and continue moving when every advantage begins to disappear. Beneath their harsh exterior lies a remarkable system of protection, a living network capable of carrying its weakest members through the storm. Seti remains hidden among the green grass, listening carefully to her mother. She is inheriting more than territory. She is inheriting the memory of countless generations. That accumulated wisdom is worth more than any boundary marker. Territory can disappear overnight, but knowledge can survive as long as it is passed forward. And perhaps the hyena's greatest weapon is not its jaws at all, but their remarkable language that binds an entire clan together. Through a rich range of calls and sounds, information can travel across the wilderness, revealing danger, gathering allies, and coordinating the next movement. A distant call may announce an enemy. Another may summon their clan. Others carry urgency, location, and the unmistakable promise of conflict. Across the open grassland, these voices can travel for several kilometers, turning sound itself into an invisible network of survival. Each rhythm carries a different meaning, allowing the clan to recognize the scale of danger before the enemy even appears. The moment the summons is heard, scattered hunters begin moving. Distance disappears, replaced by a single instinct to answer the call of the clan. Seti raises her ears and listens. Is this the call of a hunt, or the warning of another battle? Nala answers first, and the entire clan begins to gather. Nala engi ting ving derm di don quan sk thu. Kong ch engi bi dan, Nala ji ma ting jim su ti. Ting jim doen de pi buk si bi, tin chin thut de ti koan. Nala m tiarn dung tai bi, kego quatrin sot en hu ting. Ti kane kane den lin kao la m leitin, bao han h show. Kego ch thi truck emt, Nala kim sot ton bi ban si. Bao dung trine chin zok vi try, s lung teek dk thu. Fgt rt, Nala hu bi dan ph bean b. Bean en hit, then hey di ju beat elk truck h min dutch. Vukaisen, h gypsy bitr ving qua emi khing hong. H min dech con, my ladim ts sintin sia bi. Du vi, gian jit th, en ving cup dmt nas con non. Vikunda ch vo hev bi, en hung geo arc tth. Dech bean can quate th show ngayer, bi nala veen dung ving. Bean lin jip bi, vat emi thach th dbo vivuan cook. Estin con sia bi con ko beep, matu dai hhi. Chung ht d lin, hot bin dai chin thut. Ngay ti trong hang tru en, kok con non da duck ren line tin th lut. Nala en hi bain beat tiarn ting tin hu ti moi trung dbo vc dan. Ks sot lake bit to mo com fa, en hung kung bit rut lui dung luke. En hu nam quan sot cho, thi emi con, dus hu nate tin koch riang bit. Liu chung ta ko th don truck, ph ngc atin ka th truck bin si. Vth vakai ck dung trong qua kh to nairn bean lin th, sc anala. Ko giving quin I kai tr kong ch nhsk m, ma being sthu hu. Ev di tri tr t nai, cbi phnh any theo doi ting bin dung nh. En salvi hong di la emt h, thing za h jean kate seek k tin Roman 6. En hung song geo let kai bi suti rin arp, un gay bairn vung nuk. Ko beep hung han sia suti ko, th, the beep tin liern kate giakok con mai. Gasuti de cll tin t, geo arc any da de th mkh lern land de. Seti ko rum than min vitin thuong, tr gia cho si elm don gia di th. Th b nai buk cbi, ph thay di gok, en hindi vut qua de tkh hong. Tho la lai du lai cho hon di tri tld, san than kong dong kin en jeek. Vadu beat ng, nh chin la koch chung ra quit den teep th. En hing ting h hoi liern hi fat ra chin, la fu bu quit zut quan. De vao es dung thun, bi dan bio ta nang lung vatron teen th vo lai. H th dan ch de si dao jip, ungan ch, en h quit dun v va si elm. Du de ti hu sut cow, chung veen phi di emt ngai ko bi cup emt than. Op elk sin teen veen darang, kuk chingi tiart ti du nala gi, dung emi ch beat ju. The final warning fades into the night, and the wild dogs suddenly face an ancient rival. But these hunters are not alone. Their enemy has brought an entire family, waiting patiently for whatever the hunt leaves behind. As evening settles across the grassland, the young hyenas play beneath the fading sun. Nearby, scavengers move through the green grass, ready to clean whatever remains after the predators have finished. It is a strange partnership, writ into the laws of survival. One scavenger walks alone across the red earth, while young hyenas watch from thorn bushes, learning their first lessons about life on the savanna. At the water's edge, the hyena family gathers tightly together. But this territory has never belonged to them alone. From the grass, another pair of eyes watches patiently, waiting for the perfect opportunity. A leopard has been following the struggle from the shadows. After losing its meal, the solitary hunter retreats into thick cover, calmly grooming its cub before climbing back toward the safety of the trees. Unlike the hyenas and lions, the leopard chooses another strategy. It carries its prize high above the ground, away from hungry rivals, using strength, patience, and isolation as its greatest defenses. While Nala expands her territory, the wounded Seti remains nearby. Above them, the solitary hunter watches from a rocky ledge, accepting the harsh price of freedom in a world where cooperation always comes with a cost. There is no sharing here, no arguments over food, and no clan to defend. For the lone hunter, every decision is simple. Hunt alone, avoid conflict, and remain free. But is solitude really the most efficient way to survive? The answer becomes clearer when the dry season arrives, and every drop of water begins to reshape the balance of power. The leopard disappears into the shade as elephants arrive at the shrinking waterhole. No predator dares challenge these giants directly. For now, the elephants control the most valuable resource in the entire landscape. Yet even the giants have weaknesses. Under the cover of darkness, patient hyenas test the edges of the herd, searching for the young, the injured, or any animal that falls behind. Their strength is not explosive power, but endurance. They can follow, pressure, and exhaust a vulnerable target over time. Still, the elephants remain the true architects of this wilderness. An elephant tears down branches and opens fresh grassland, creating feeding grounds for countless herbivores. Deep beneath the dry earth, it can also uncover hidden water that keeps other animals alive. Even the smallest elephant helps spread seeds across the plains. Without these giants, the grasslands would slowly change, and the delicate network supporting predators, prey, and scavengers would begin to collapse. Elephants belong to no kingdom ruled by Nala, Kago, or any other predator. Their influence reaches far beyond territorial borders. They build the foundation upon which every other empire survives. Their enormous memories allow them to recognize familiar faces for decades. When one member dies, the herd may pause beside their remains, displaying a behavior that scientists still find deeply remarkable. But their future is becoming increasingly uncertain. If elephants disappear, water sources may vanish, vegetation may change, and the consequences could spread through every level of the savanna. Far above the ground, another network is constantly moving. Vultures scan hundreds of square kilometers, searching for the smallest sign of death. When an animal falls, their circling flight becomes a signal visible from extraordinary distances. One movement in the sky can reveal what predators cannot see from the ground. Nala has learned to read these patterns, watching where the vultures turn and how quickly they gather. Below them, elephants continue feeding and bathing in the fading heat. Above them, the vultures perform another essential task, stripping carcasses before disease can spread across the grasslands. Every species is connected to the next. If the elephants decline, water and vegetation change. If scavengers disappear, disease may spread. And if predators lose their prey, the entire chain begins to unravel. Nala understands this hidden network better than most. A hawk circles above. Vultures gather in the distance. Every movement becomes another clue, another fragment of information in the battlefield she is constantly reading. Seti suppresses the pain in her wounded body and prepares to follow. Nala listens for Kago, watches the sky, and waits for the final confirmation. Then the signal arrives. The flock turns south, confirming that Tao has moved again. In an instant, the scattered hunters begin racing toward the hidden enemy. The pursuit has entered its decisive stage. But as vultures circle overhead and disease threats from the shadows, one question remains. Can Nala's wisdom lead her clan through the final battle and preserve the kingdom she has built? Following the circling vultures, Nala leads her clan southward, searching for Tao while the aerial scouts reveal what cannot be seen from the ground. But the vultures themselves are disappearing. Across Africa, 7 species now face severe pressure, even as their ancient role keeps the grasslands free of disease. Below them, another survivor moves quietly through the great wilderness. The black-backed jackal has no empire, yet it has endured countless changes on this unforgiving land. Tao may disappear beneath thorn bushes, but hiding from the eyes above is almost impossible. The vultures can scan enormous distances, turning the open sky into a network of silent observers. The jackal controls only a few square kilometers, hundreds of times smaller than Nala's domain. Yet its greatest weapon is not territory, but the ability to survive without drawing attention. It waits patiently at the edge of the waterhole, allowing larger predators to leave before approaching. A few careful drinks are enough, and then it disappears again into the grass. Without an army to defend it, flexibility becomes its strongest shield. Every movement is measured, every pause deliberate, because one careless decision could expose it to a much larger predator. When danger approaches the water, the jackal's alarm call cuts through the silence. Antelope, birds, and smaller animals react instantly, turning one cautious survivor into an unwilling warning system. Small and remarkably alert, the jackal stays beyond the reach of powerful hunters. A scar across its eye tells another story, revealing that survival here has never come without a price. It lowers its head beside a muddy depression, searching for every precious drop. Its ears never stop moving, and not a single unfamiliar sound escapes its attention. With a small catch secured between its jaws, it feeds without fighting for possession. While hyenas build strength through cooperation, the jackal follows another strategy: remain adaptable, remain unnoticed, remain alive. It digs quickly for food, moves lightly across the ground, and leaves before trouble arrives. When jackal numbers decline, the warning reaches far beyond the species itself, revealing damage within the ecosystem. The jackal is not a symbol of dominance. It is something more revealing, a living measure of environmental health. When these quiet survivors begin disappearing, something deeper is already changing. 2 jackals briefly touch heads beneath the fading light, a small gesture of trust in a brutal world. Nearby, young hyenas gather around their mother, protected by the strength of their growing family. So what truly rules the savanna? Is it raw strength, or their ability to adapt when conditions become impossible? Every footprint across the red earth seems to offer the same answer. Tao is not weak, but the dry season has stripped away many of his advantages. Nala understands this. She divides the hunting party and searches every corner of the grassland for his hiding place. Seti is still injured and cannot lead from the front, yet the clan maintains its formation. Every escape route is checked, every patch of cover examined, leaving Tao fewer and fewer places to disappear. The younger animals remain close, learning survival while danger surrounds them. At the last reliable waterhole, The clan quickly restores its strength, because in this season, even minutes can determine who survives. Nala crosses the marsh and moves toward the rocky ravine. The wind carries Tao's scent, tightening the formation. The landscape has changed, but the objective remains simple: find the weakened lion. Nala does not depend on brute force. Patience controls the encounter. She waits for the moment when Tao is most vulnerable, knowing that the strongest strike is often the one delivered after the longest silence. She steps into the open valley like a solitary wanderer, then settles beneath the shade. Her body appears relaxed, but her ears remain upright, listening for every movement beyond the trees. Unity and strict order have carried Nala's bloodline through crisis after crisis. The strongest creature does not always win here. Those capable of adapting to the changing rules are the ones who endure. Then Tao finally appears beneath the dead branches. The once powerful lion is thin and exhausted, seeking shade from the burning sun, completely unaware that Nala's trap has already begun too close. Still, Nala refuses to attack too soon. She studies the bones nearby, searching for signs of how much strength remains in her rival. Understanding the enemy is more valuable than reckless aggression. Every position is checked. Every member waits for the signal. The decoy begins to work, drawing Tao toward the weakness Nala has been patiently waiting to expose. Nala stands firm among the bushes and sends the command through the clan. This confrontation is no longer about one hunter. It is about protecting an entire generation, waiting safely behind the front line. A chorus of sharp calls rises together as the circle closes around Tao. In that moment, Nala proves that true dominance is not measured by strength alone, but by control, discipline, and unity.